All right, so I'm going to be going over some example problems of the review you're going to be doing. So these problems are very identical, so make sure you watch this thoroughly so you know exactly what to do for your review and then for your quiz. So I'm giving you this question. Above it will say, give me the transformation of the translation. And this is basically asking for your rule where it's the x plus a, the y plus b. Give me that type of rule. So all you really have to do is take your first point. So you have your point -5, -2, and it translates to -4, 2. All we can do is take this one and put it into the formula we were using for our first assignment on translations. So we do -5 plus a goes to -4, -2 plus b goes to 2, and then we have to solve for our a and b. So we add 5 over, and we get a is 1. We add 2 over, and we get b is 4. So then all we do is put it into our x plus 1 formula, y plus 4 formula, and we get that as our rule for our translation. Then we can check it. So I use b to check it. So I plug 0 in for x, -3 in for y, and I got my 1, 1. You could check it with the other two to make sure you're correct if you want to choose that. But this is going to be your correct answer. Now we're moving on to translating these 3 points, 2 units left and 4 units down. So if we're doing 2 units left, we're doing x minus 2. If we're doing 4 units down, we're doing y minus 4. So just plug in our points. So -1 minus 2, -1 minus 4 gives us our -3, -5. 0 minus 2, 3 minus 4 gives us -2, -1, and 4 minus 2, -1 minus 4 gives us our 2, -5, and that would be your answers. A reflection across the y-axis, so anytime we have a reflection across the y-axis, your x value changes its sign. So if it's negative, it becomes positive. If it's positive, it becomes negative. So when we change the x value, we'll have 5, 2 instead. We'll have 2, 3, and 1, 0. And those would be our final answers. When we have a reflection across the x-axis, our y value changes sign. So now we're going to have -4, 2. This stays -3, 0 because you can't have a -0. -0 is just 0. And this becomes 0, 3. Now this type of question would be one when we're doing, does it reflect over the x-axis or y-axis? And it's specific on your review. So what you want to do is you want to line up the ones that go together. So we have L and L. So I put them with each other. We have X and X. So I put those with each other, and D and D, and I put them together. So now I'm going to look at the 2 points and see what changes. So from 1, 2 to 1, -2, a negative is on the y. 1, 3 to 1, -3, a negative is now on the y. 4, 1 to 4, -1, a negative is on the y. So whenever the sign of the y value changes, we know it reflects over the x-axis, and that will be our final answer. Now we're moving on to rotations, and rotations for some reason was very tricky for us. So I'm going to go through these, and hopefully this clarifies it all. So this is a chart that you should have written down in your notebook. I suggest pausing this video and writing it down if you can, because this will be very helpful for the quiz. What we want to do is take these points and rotate it 90 degrees counterclockwise. So if we look at our counterclockwise, it's right here, 90 degrees. And that tells us that our xy, our original point, is going to change into -yx. So what this means is that our x and y values switch, and our y value is now going to change our sign. So we'll see what that means. So that means if we're starting off with -4, -1, we flip that. So once we flip it, we get -1, -4. They change spots. But now you want to make the value here be the opposite sign. So that's going to be 1, -4. So once again, you flip it and then change the sign of the 1 here. So for this one, flip it, we get 3, -2. Change the sign of the first one, you get -3, -2. Same for here, flip it, and you can't change 0 to -0 because it's just 0, so you get 0, -2. And those would be your final answers. Now we have a rotation 180 degrees about the origin. So they aren't specific here whether it's clockwise or counterclockwise, but we know that that's the same exact reflection. So to have that reflection, we go from our original point to -x, -y. So both values are going to change their signs. So instead of -5, 2, we're going to have 5, -2. Instead of -5, 5, we're going to have 5, -5. Instead of negative 4, 2, we're going to have 4, negative 2 as our final points. Now we have a rotation 90 degrees clockwise about the origin. So clockwise, you go up to our chart, goes from xy to y negative x. So now we're flipping it, and our second value is going to change its sign. So we flip it. So we flip this, it becomes negative 1, negative 5. The second number over here has to become positive, and that'll be 5. Flip it again. This would become 4, negative 3. Change the sign of this one, so it's now positive 3. This would be 2, negative 1 once we flip it, and then change the sign, it becomes positive 1. Finally, we do with 270 degrees clockwise. So I put a C for clockwise. So 270 degrees clockwise goes from xy to negative yx. So you're going to flip them, change them, and then you're going to have your first value change its sign. So we flip them. This becomes negative 1, negative 5. The first one changes its sign, so 1, negative 5. Flip them. 4, negative 3 goes to negative 4, negative 3. Flip them again. 2, negative 1 goes to negative 2, negative 1. Then counterclockwise, we have xy to y negative x, so the second one's going to become negative. So we do negative 5, negative 1 goes to negative 1, negative 5, change the second one to positive. Then we have negative 3, 4, flip them. The second one becomes positive, so it's 4, 3. And then 2, negative, if we have negative 1, 2, and we flip it, it goes to 2, negative 1, change the sign of the second one, and we get 1. If the sign was positive, we would make it negative, but for all these it was negative, so we made it positive. You're just doing the opposite sign. And as you can see, the 270 counterclockwise is the same as the 90 degrees clockwise, so you get the same exact answers. So if you have any questions throughout the review, just email me and we can go through it.